Have you ever walked past something truly extraordinary without even realizing it? A place where time itself seems to hold its breath, where centuries of silence whisper tales of forgotten prophecies. In the ancient heart of Jerusalem, there stands such a place, a gate, sealed shut for nearly 500 years, nestled deep within the city's eastern wall. To most, it's just old stone, another relic in a city brimming with history. But to those who listen closely, who feel the subtle hum beneath the surface, it's far more. They call it the Eastern Gate, the Golden Gate, the Gate of Mercy. And for generations, it has guarded a secret, a profound whisper of what is to come. But now something is stirring. Dust is falling, stones are shifting, and quiet reports are spreading, suggesting that this ancient portal, a key to both Jewish and Christian prophecy, may just be preparing to open. If it is, what or who is on the way? This isn't merely a story of crumbling architecture. It's a profound journey back through time and forward into prophecy, connecting ancient texts with modern occurrences. To truly grasp the significance of this sealed gate, we must first understand the deep currents of history and faith that converged upon it centuries ago, shaping its destiny and laying the groundwork for the whispers we hear today. It's a narrative woven from imperial decrees, spiritual defiance, and the enduring hope of a promised return, a tapestry that reveals why this particular stretch of stone has captivated hearts and minds for millennia. The sacred silence. Why the gate was sealed. To understand the profound weight carried by the Eastern Gate, we must travel back to the early 1500s, a period when the mighty Ottoman Empire held sway over Jerusalem. Sultan Suleiman, often called the Magnificent for his monumental architectural endeavors, undertook the ambitious task of rebuilding Jerusalem's ancient walls. Yet, amidst his grand designs, one decision stands out, cloaked in mystery and deeply intertwined with the city's spiritual pulse. He ordered the Eastern Gate to be sealed shut. No formal decree from his court explains this drastic action, nor do any surviving documents explicitly reveal his reasoning. However, the timing of his decision, coupled with the deeply held traditions and prophetic expectations prevalent in Jerusalem at that time, strongly suggests a motivation far deeper than mere military strategy. You see, by the 16th century, the air in Jerusalem buzzed with anticipation. Many residents, both Jewish and Christian, spoke openly of ancient prophecies foretelling the arrival of the Messiah. Specifically, ancient Jewish teachings proclaimed that the Messiah, a figure of immense spiritual authority, would enter the holy city from the east, and crucially, through this very gate. Suleiman, perhaps sensing the potent spiritual power attributed to this entry point, took deliberate action. He not only ordered the gate to be bricked up, but in what appears to be a calculated move of spiritual blockade, he also established a Muslim cemetery directly in front of it. This placement was far from incidental. In Jewish law, priestly descendants, known as Kohanim, are ritually forbidden from entering cemeteries. If the Messiah was expected to be a figure of priestly lineage, this cemetery would create a profound spiritual barrier, rendering the path ritually impure and impassable. It's a truly sobering thought. A gateway, believed by many to be destined for the glorious return of God's anointed one, deliberately closed, a wall raised against a divine promise. Yet history consistently reminds us that human attempts to thwart the will of God are ultimately futile. Pharaoh tried, Babylon tried, Rome tried, and through it all, prophecy, though often moving in mysterious ways, has continued its relentless march forward, not in defiance, but with a quiet, unwavering certainty. The Bible itself, while not naming this gate directly, speaks of it through geographical direction and through profound vision. The prophet Ezekiel, exiled in Babylon, received a breathtaking vision that would resonate through the centuries. He witnessed the glory of the Lord entering the temple from the east, a divine presence, radiant and full of power, coming through what he explicitly called the East Gate, Ezekiel 43. But earlier in his book, Ezekiel also recounts a heart-wrenching sight, the glory of God departing. And again, it exited toward the east, Ezekiel 10. It's a poignant narrative of closeness followed by distance, a recurring pattern of divine presence and subsequent exile. Now let us fast forward several hundred years to a pivotal moment in history. Jesus, on the eve of Passover, makes his solemn way toward Jerusalem. The crowds are electric with anticipation, their hopes pinned on this figure. He enters the city not on a war horse or in a chariot, but humbly, riding on a donkey, a deliberate and profound echo of Zechariah's prophecy. Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Behold, your king is coming to you. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding on a donkey. Zechariah 9:9. And the route he takes is precisely significant. From the Mount of Olives across the Kidron Valley, and according to the traditional layout of the ancient city, straight through the Eastern Gate. It was a quiet fulfillment, not a grand revolution, but undeniably the moment the Messiah entered his city. Yet that wasn't the end of the story. The book of Acts chapter 1 tells us that Jesus ascended into heaven from the very same Mount of Olives. And Zechariah 14 speaks prophetically of the day he will return. On that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives. And so the powerful pattern continues. The gate watches, the prophecy waits, and for 2 millennia the stage has been set, building towards something more, something monumental. The gate. Today, a wall of stone and a whisper of change. Today the Eastern Gate remains steadfastly sealed, its 2 grand arches once open to the bustling world, now completely filled in with solid stone, quiet, unmoving, a monument to centuries of anticipation. Yet the vibrant city of Jerusalem that surrounds it is anything but still. Jerusalem is a living, breathing tapestry where countless layers of history, fervent faith, and ongoing conflict are intricately woven through its ancient streets. The Western Wall pulses with the murmur of countless prayers. The shimmering dome of the rock gleams under the sun, and the vibrant markets overflow with the sights, sounds, and smells of daily life. But if you walk purposefully toward the Eastern Wall, if you pause just before the Gate of Mercy, something profound feels different. It's not merely the profound silence that sets it apart. It's what lies hidden beneath that silence, a subtle stirring. In recent years, quiet murmurs have begun to spread among those who know the city best. Not sensational headlines, but hushed reports from Israeli tour guides who speak of fine dust slipping through seemingly impenetrable seams. There are observations of stone shifts that weren't present before, subtle misalignments noted by engineers that defy easy explanation. And some courageous souls even claim to have heard faint, resonant groans from deep within the gate's ancient core. While no official explanation has been offered, and many dismiss these phenomena as mere erosion, foundational shifts, or the inevitable aging of an ancient structure, for others, these aren't just coincidences. They feel like a whisper, a gentle tremor, a profound stirring in the very fabric of the stones. In Matthew 24, Jesus spoke of the profound signs that would precede his return. Wars, rumors of wars, great tremors in the earth, and voices crying out from the wilderness. And then he said, "Watch, for you do not know the hour." There is a deeper reality at play beneath the surface of these ancient stones, a reality we cannot easily touch or measure with human instruments, but one that we can profoundly feel and perceive with our spirits. The Bible, far from shying away from this concept, boldly affirms it. Hebrews 11:3 tells us, "By faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible." This is a beautiful, deeply humbling truth. Our entire visible world, everything we perceive with our senses, was born out of the unseen, the spiritual realm. This fundamental truth radically changes how we should understand everything around us. It means that the physical realm, The world of tangible objects and observable phenomena is not the complete story. It is merely the echo, the surface manifestation, the ripple emanating from a far greater unseen source. So when we gaze upon the Eastern Gate today, we aren't merely looking at ancient limestone and centuries-old mortar. We're looking at a profound threshold, a tangible point of intersection between the natural and the divine. In Scripture, God rarely announces his monumental acts with overwhelming shouts or dazzling displays that erase all doubt. Instead, he often moves in ways that appear small by the world's bombastic standards, yet are utterly seismic in their eternal impact. Consider the whisper he spoke to Elijah in the cave, rather than the thunder or the mighty wind. Think of a baby born in a humble feeding trough, not a king enthroned in a palace. A king who chose to enter his city riding on a donkey, not in a grand chariot of war. These are not oversights or coincidences. They are consistent divine patterns. They are meant to teach us that heaven operates on principles vastly different from our human expectations, that the kingdom of God often begins small, quietly, subtly, and then grows like a powerful seed, blossoming into something magnificent. Therefore, when we observe something subtly strange at the Eastern Gate, the persistent fall of stone dust, the unexpected slight shifts in the ancient masonry, or those faint, inexplicable noises from within, we should not be so quick to dismiss or explain it away with purely mundane reasons. Instead, we should pause and ask ourselves a profound question. Is this precisely the kind of subtle yet significant sign that God might choose to give? Not a spectacular fireworks display in the sky, but a soft breath stirring within a wall, a gentle trembling in the ancient stone. The Mount of Olives connection, the divine pattern. To fully grasp the prophetic significance of the Eastern Gate, we must shift our gaze directly across from it. There, majestically rising like a silent, eternal witness on the eastern horizon of Jerusalem, stands the Mount of Olives. This isn't merely a geographical landmark, it is a spiritual axis, undeniably one of the holiest places on earth. And its profound connection to the Eastern Gate is far from accidental. It is divinely prophetic and precisely ordained. Recall Ezekiel's vision. He saw the glory of God depart from the temple, moving eastward and resting upon the Mount of Olives. This was a departure steeped in grief, symbolizing God's presence leaving his earthly house. But Ezekiel's vision didn't end there. He also saw a glorious return. He vividly describes the glory of the Lord coming back from the east, triumphantly entering through the very same gate, Ezekiel 43. This establishes an unbreakable pattern: departure and return, grief and restoration. Centuries later, Jesus himself followed this exact pattern. He crossed the Mount of Olives, entered Jerusalem, and critically, he came through the Eastern Gate. It was Palm Sunday, a day etched in history when the crowd shouted, "Hosanna!" and once again divine glory passed through that very gateway. But he didn't stay, not yet. After his resurrection, Jesus returned to the Mount of Olives, and from there he majestically ascended into heaven. His disciples stood stunned, gazing up into the sky. Then 2 men, angels, appeared and spoke these powerful words. "Men of Galilee, why do you stand gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus who was taken up from you into heaven will come in like manner as you saw him go into heaven." Acts 1:11. And Zechariah tells us plainly, leaving no room for metaphor, on that day his feet will stand on the Mount of Olives. Zechariah 14:4. That's not abstract symbolism. That's precise geography. That's a trajectory, a path drawn by heaven itself, from the mount across the valley, straight through the gate. In every generation, there are watchers, individuals who feel the profound weight of time, who instinctively sense that the world's unfolding events are not random chaos, but are instead moving purposefully toward a divinely ordained culmination. These are people who don't just passively consume the news, but actively look through it, seeking deeper meanings and connections In recent years, many such watchers have felt an undeniable pull, drawing them to the Eastern Gate. Some are seasoned scholars, others humble pilgrims. Still others are pastors, writers, or quiet believers with open, expectant hearts. And what they are reporting is remarkably consistent, forming a discernible pattern. Some have stood at the very foot of the gate and felt something undeniable, not merely imagined or emotional, but genuinely physical, a low vibration, a profound hum emanating from deep within the ground, as though the earth itself were remembering. Others have vividly witnessed fine dust consistently falling from the ancient archways, even without wind or other apparent vibrations, just a slow, steady shedding, as though the gate were gently stirring from a long, deep sleep. And a courageous few have even claimed to hear something from within, not the sounds of modern construction or city traffic, but a subtle groan, a faint moan of immense pressure from behind the ancient wall. These are not isolated fantasies or flights of imagination. They are testimonies, consistent reports that echo the ancient biblical tradition of the watchman on the wall. Isaiah 62:6 speaks of them. I have posted watchmen on your walls, Jerusalem. They will never be silent day or night. True watchers are not obsessed with sensational signs. Instead, they are keenly attentive to divine alignment, to the precise unfolding of God's meticulously laid plans. A city like no other. Why Jerusalem still matters. Jerusalem is far more than just another ancient city steeped in history. It is unequivocally the very heartbeat of prophecy. Throughout the pages of the Bible, it is mentioned more than 800 times from the earliest days of Abraham and King David to the sweeping final visions recorded in the book of Revelation. Psalm 122 doesn't merely suggest it, it issues a powerful command. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Why? Because Jerusalem transcends mere geography. It is spiritual ground zero, the precise place where heaven and earth have consistently collided, time and time again. It was here that King Solomon, with divine guidance, built the first magnificent temple. It was here that the prophets cried out with urgent warnings and promises. It was here that Jesus himself walked, taught, wept, and ultimately gave his life. In Luke 19:42, looking upon the beloved city, he spoke with profound sorrow. If you, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it is hidden from your eyes. And that solemn warning, a poignant echo from 2 millennia ago, resonates powerfully even today. The modern world races ahead, often in confusion and turmoil. Yet the city of Jerusalem remains like a steadfast watchtower, unwavering, central, and eternally sacred. Could it be that we are approaching yet another profound divine visitation, and again so many remain tragically unaware? If this unique city was at the very center of Christ's first coming, might it not also play an equally central, pivotal role in his glorious return? The prophetic clock, a gate, a nation, and a fig tree. When Jesus spoke of the fig tree in Matthew 24, he wasn't simply offering a botanical observation. He was speaking in profound symbol and code, as he so often did. Most biblical scholars widely agree that the fig tree in this context represents Israel. He said, "Now learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its branches become tender and put forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So likewise, when you see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door." Pause on that powerful phrase, at the door. Could that door be more than a mere metaphor? Could it in fact be the actual eastern gate itself, sealed for centuries, now subtly trembling and intently watched by prophecy watchers around the globe? The miraculous rebirth of Israel as a sovereign nation in 1948 was, for many, the undeniable first leaf on the fig tree. Since that momentous year, the signs have multiplied exponentially. Increasing earthquakes, regional wars, a global spiritual awakening, alongside widespread apostasy and pervasive global unrest. But perhaps the most quiet yet chillingly significant sign of all may be this: an ancient gate, long closed and forgotten by many, may finally be beginning to stir. If Jesus himself declared, "It is near, even at the door," what if he meant exactly that literally? The final question: when the gate opens, picture it clearly in your mind. A gate of ancient weathered stone, sealed tight for nearly half a millennium, seemingly untouched by the relentless march of time, yet profoundly, inextricably touched by destiny. And now the whispers persist, fine dust steadily falling from unseen cracks, subtle vibrations felt in the very earth, ancient stones subtly shifted from their centuries-old positions. What if this isn't merely the slow decay of time, but rather an intricate divine design unfolding before our very eyes? Ask yourself, when this gate finally opens, what will it truly signify? It may not swing open with a grand fanfare, nor may it be accompanied by bolts of lightning or pillars of fire in the sky. But spiritually, it will undoubtedly shake the heavens. This is not just a gate, it is a declaration in waiting. And when it opens, it won't just reveal a long hidden passage. It will, in a moment of profound spiritual seismic shift, announce a king. For centuries, prophecy has waited patiently, often in silence. And this gate, this ancient portal, may indeed be the final threshold, the very moment when meticulous divine timing and the unfolding tapestry of human history dramatically collide. Will we, as individuals, be truly ready when that happens? The signs are subtle, yes, but they are undeniably stacking up one upon another. The world, by and large, continues to slumber, but the gate stirs, and heaven is watching. Are you? If this profound message has stirred something deep within your spirit, please don't simply scroll past it. Instead, stay awake, stay watchful, because the King is indeed drawing near. If you believe this message holds truth and is a sign worth watching, please subscribe, like, and share this message, because this story, far from being ancient history, may just be prophetic present tense. And it's not over. It may just be beginning.